everybody, it's Sarah, and today I am here with a tag for you, and that tag is the Nope Trope book tag that was created by Zoe's All Booked, and I was tagged by Jenna from the Westvale archive, and I will leave both of their videos linked down below, so definitely go and check them out. This tag follows the very easy principle of having a very much often collectively disliked trope and then pairing it with a book or with a prompt, and we then pair that prompt with a book, obviously. You know how tags worked. Let's just get into it. The first question is the eavesdropping trope, which then often leads to miscommunication. And for that I had to choose a book that I heard great things about and that I expected to love but that I ended up hating. And maybe I'm cheating a little bit with that answer, because when I picked up this book, although I had heard good things about it already, it by far wasn't as hyped and wasn't everywhere like it is now, because I picked it up I think quite soon after it was published, a few months after it was published, and the hype only really started after book 2 got out, in my opinion. But that book is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I expected obviously to really love this book. I do not pick up books where I don't at least expect to thoroughly enjoy them. Aside from classics. Classics I sometimes pick up just because I want to have read them. But as I said, I expected to really love this book. I thought it was right down my alley. High fantasy, grimdark high fantasy, love that stuff. Morally grey, like amazing. But even though I enjoyed it for the biggest part of the book, the ending kind of made me hate the book, and I even made 2 whole videos on why I hated this novel, even though I did read book 2, which I also wasn't the biggest fan of, and I am going to read book 3, which I don't know. I don't even know if I should get my hopes up or not. But anyway, I have like 4 videos in total on the series so far. I will leave all of them linked down below. 2 of them are on the Poppy War, why I hated the Poppy War and my problems with it, and then 2 of them are of course on the Dragon Republic book 2, a spoiler-free review, as well as a more spoilery discussion. But yeah, really bummed out. I hope I'm going to give book 3 at least 3 stars. However, funnily enough, even though I'm not a fan of the Poppy War or the entire series so far really, I am still really excited to see where R.F. Kuang goes with her, I don't know, were you able to hear my belly right now rumbling? Anyway, I'm really excited to see what R.F. Kuang comes out with in the future, because I do generally really love her concepts. And I think she can improve a lot still in a way where I will end up enjoying her books. I just didn't like the execution of her thoughts and concepts in this particular series. Question number 2 is love triangles, even though they're usually love V's, as Zoe did mention. And the prompt is to pick a series that I can't choose a favorite from. And for that I chose The Other Series by Anne Bishop. I wanted to choose the Black Jewel series at first, but in the Black Jewel series, I mean, it's 10 books, and I can at least tell you my top 3 favorites. However, in the Other series, I found that most of the books, aside from the like companion novels, which I like less, but most of the books in the proper series, most of the 5 books, they're just all really solid, and I like all of them about the same amount, so it's really hard for me to choose a favorite, and I'm not going to, because why should I have to choose my favorite? Next trope is the not like other girls trope, the I didn't know I was beautiful trope, and oh my god, I agree, this trope is like horrible. And for that I had to choose a book that has a beautiful cover but was boring as hell, and for that I chose The Descendant of the Crane, because look at this gorgeous cover. This cover is the only reason why I have not yet unhauled this book. I cannot even remember what it was about. I was so bored throughout the book. It was just bad. It was just really bad generic story, and I did not like it at all. Question number 4 is the all-consuming love. So this thing that happens a lot of times in YA where halfway through the book suddenly only the love interest is important and like saving the world is like whatever, an afterthought. And for that I had to choose a book that gave me a book hangover. And I have to say I haven't had a book hangover in quite a long time, actually in a few years. And so I'm going to choose 2 books actually that belong to the same authors, to the same cycle of series, because this series is the series that I can remember the most having book hangovers over. And the 2 books are Clockwork Princess and City of Heavenly Fire. I remember with both of these books, the thing I did, especially with City of Heavenly Fire actually, but with both of these books, the thing I did was I went back to City of Bones and reread all the books straight away after I finished the last page of this. Actually with this, I think with City of Heavenly Fire, I started then with Clockwork Angel, read the Infernal Devices, then went on to City of Bones and reread that whole series. And yeah, it was really, really intense. My book hangovers were so horrible after both of these books that they both put me into a slump where I couldn't read anything but Cassandra Clare afterwards. So yeah, that's what you call a book hangover. Prompt number 5 is the douchebag boyfriend. Name a book that took you a while to get into but you ended up loving. And for that I'm actually going with an author, and I'm going with Brandon Sanderson. Yes, surprise, surprise, my now probably favorite author of all time, at least one of my favorite authors of all time. It took me a while to get into him. I actually, when I picked up The Way of Kings first, which was my first Brandon Sanderson book, I got about a third of the way in and then I set it down and didn't pick it up again. A few months later I picked it up again and I absolutely loved it. The same thing happened with The Final Empire. When I first picked up The Final Empire, I picked it up and read about a third and then set it down again and didn't continue. But when I picked it up again, I basically read it in one sitting. I basically read the entire first Mistborn trilogy in one sitting, in fact. So yeah, it took me to get into Brandon Sanderson, but I am very happy I did. And then the last question is just tell us your favorite or least favorite trope. And I, in fact, because of 7 on Sunday, did 2 videos on that, one of my favorite tropes and one of my least favorite tropes, which I will both leave a link down below and up there. But just for a quick answer, my least favorite trope of all time is the resurrection trope. I hate any trope that has to do with death, because I'm really picky when it comes to my deaths, and people coming back just has the ability to ruin entire series for me. And then my favorite trope, I would say, is like the rivals to friends trope, like where you have 2 rivals and they like don't like each other, they constantly clash, but then because they constantly clash, they are just perfectly paired up once like everything goes down and everything goes to shit, and so they start like acknowledging each other and like becoming friends. That's just such a beautiful, wholesome trope. But anyway, that was it for this video. I'm too lazy to think of people to tag right now, so I'm going to tag a lot of people on Twitter. Also, if you watch this video and you want to do it, you're tagged right now. And with that said, if you enjoyed this video, maybe think about giving me a thumbs up and also maybe subscribing. Tell me in the comments down below your favorite and least favorite tropes, and what your answers would be to some of those questions that I just answered. All the links to my social media are in the description box down below, so go and check those out. The links to my book club, where we read 1 adult high fantasy book written by a woman per month, is also in the description box down below. And I hope I'll see you soon. Bye!